Welcome back to Life Enrichment with Hank Ballinger. Today we're going to talk about listening to success stories. Now, success stories is one of those things in life that I have found that is very comforting to me. Now, I don't know about everybody, and a lot of people's different. A lot of people like scary stories. Not really a big scary story guy. A lot of people like scary movies. Not so much me. But there are different kind of movies that I like. Adventure movies, I kind of like those. So everybody's not alike, but I think most people should like success stories. Now, if you want to build wealth, I would think listening to success stories would be right up your alley, because hopefully someday you will have a success story. And if you want to build wealth and you're very adamant about it, listen, you can do this. Many people have throughout time. So it's very possible for you to do it. But listening to success stories, that way it kind of heads off some of those problems that you're going to run into, some of those hurdles that you may have. You may hear how someone else took care of that problem, solved the problem. So when you see it coming, you solve the problem before you ever get to it, because you've already heard about it. To me, it's just really great. I hear these other people, and they're very encouraging. And yeah, they've had hurdles, they've had a lot of problems, but some way or another they get over it, and they tell others, and it encourages them. So I love success stories. So before we get into that today, again, I would like to say we appreciate all those who listen. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us if you could do that. Encourage others to watch it on Facebook, share it on Facebook, encourage others to watch us on YouTube. The idea and what we try to do here on this channel is we want to help the average person get out of the everyday grind, working for the man, and be able to build a life, and a life they can control. So if you can tell others, we would greatly appreciate that. Now, we also have a web page that has come out recently, and you can find the link in the description below. So if you want to go to that. There's some lessons on there. It costs about $50 for 6 lessons. It's about 10 to 12 hours worth of information. Really good. I encourage it. But I love, and for anyone who takes that course, I hope you make good on that, and I hope you can build wealth. Listen to the success stories. Now, success stories encourage and educate me. And I have listened, true story, about 2-3 days ago, I listened to probably 10 success stories in one day. Some of these stories would range anywhere from from a half an hour to about an hour, hour and a half, maybe right at 2 hours. And depending on the person, some of them were the titans from years ago, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, these guys, and the Charles Schwab and Warren Buffett, those guys, and some of them were more recent. So these success stories, you hear how these guys made it, and crazy odds. The odds were so stacked against all of these guys, yet they made it. But they just kept on. They wouldn't quit. So I love listening to success stories because it encourages me and tells me that if these guys made it, I can make it. You can make it. We all can make it. So listen to success stories. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how old I am. When I started going to seminars and trying to learn to build wealth, I would listen to cassette tapes. Now, I never did listen to an 8-track, but I listened to a lot of cassette tapes. I listened to CDs. Maybe there are still a few CDs hanging around out there. You can still have a CD player in your car. Nowadays, they don't even put CD players in cars. Odd. On YouTube today, I listen to tons of stuff on YouTube. A lot of stuff. I attended hundreds and hundreds of seminars. Now, why are seminars so good? Because when I go to these seminars, I'm listening to a guy or a woman who has made it, they themselves, and they are telling me their personal story. This is not hearsay. This is not in a book. This is the person themselves many times, and they're telling me how they built wealth. I'm hearing it firsthand. They're telling me about the hurdles and how they overcame those adversities. Very powerful. Now, a lot of people don't do seminars today because there's so much on YouTube and on social medias. Don't really have as many seminars going on. But if you can, it's really nice to go to those. Tony Robbins does a lot. Dean Graziasi, who works with him. A lot of other people do seminars still. Very powerful. I talk directly with entrepreneurs. Now, years ago, I would try to find entrepreneurs in an area that I lived in that had made it, because if they can make it, they're not making it in another country. They're not making it somewhere else in America. They're making it here where I am. So if I could talk to them, it was really good. And especially if they were in the very type business, I'm in apartments. So if I could talk to someone who had a lot of apartments, I could learn a lot because they taught me exactly what I needed in this area, in this time. So it's very valuable. So lots of avenues, lots of different ways you can listen to success stories. Now, all success stories are different. Now, it's interesting. I have listened to a success story of the lady who came up with Spanx. Now, I don't know if you know what that is. That's something that cheerleaders put on under their skirt and what guys put on under their trunks. And it's just something they came up with, and I really don't know exactly what they are. But if you will get on and listen to this lady's success story, interesting thing about her story, she did a lot of things wrong to start with that worked out great. And you can listen to her success story and the way that she kind of got these Spanx going and the way that she started selling them and getting them marketed. It was not the way everyone else was marketing things, but it worked for her. And she figured it out even though no one else was doing it the way she did. Now, if you listen to other success stories, I don't care who it is, Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, who it is, I don't care. They're going to give you a lot of the same things, but a lot of different things. They had different hurdles. So all success stories are different, but all success stories are the same. Every single one of those success stories, there was a lot of thinking. Constant thinking for years. And every time a hurdle came up, they had to change their thinking. Every time something came up that was a little tough, adversity, they would have to change their thinking. But they still did it. A lot of planning. There's going to be a lot of planning. You can do this, but there's going to be a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. That's just the way it is. Every success story I've ever heard of, these people spend tons of time thinking and planning. Lots of physical time, possibly physical work. Now, the last video that I did was Think and Grow Rich. Now, anybody can think and grow rich. Not that it's easy, but it can be done. Many have done it. But sometimes you will have to roll your sleeves up and you're going to have to get in there and do physical work. That's just the nature of it. Sometimes you'll have to get in there and work harder than you've ever worked before to get this business off the ground, to make it work. But you can do this. Not impossible. Lots of failures. Every success story that I know, every one of them has had failures. I don't know of any that said just crazy easy going from the bottom to the top. No problems at all, just straight up to the top. It's not going to happen. You will have adversity. So when you go, and if you're trying to build wealth in real estate, which that's something I really encourage, although any way you can do it, great, as long as it's legal. But if you're trying to build wealth, you're going to have tough times. You're going to have to roll your sleeves up. You're going to have failures, and you need to know this. It will not be easy. But when that failure comes, just realize you've got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get back in the saddle. And when you get knocked off again, and you will, Get back up. If you get back up the same amount of times you get knocked off of the horse and you get back up and get back on the horse, you will succeed at something. It may not be the very first thing you try. It may not be the second. It may not be the third. One time I went to 8 banks to get a property. I was turned down by 8 different banks here in Richmond. Now every one of those banks would probably like to deal with me. But that's just the nature of it. Back then, I didn't have my name in the pot, but that's the way it goes. You have to have failures. It teaches you to become very good at pushing no matter what the adversity. You can do this. Now, when you have those failures, learn to redirect or completely modify or do something completely different. If you're doing one thing and the door gets slammed in your face, you may need to realize, okay, that didn't work at all. I've got to do something completely different and figure out what it is you need to do and do it. Don't hum-ha around. An entrepreneur sees what he needs to do and then does it quickly. You don't give up. You don't quit. You make sure you get that done. And if another door slams in your face, do it a different way. And if another one slams in your face, do it a different way. Those doors will slam in your face from time to time. That's the nature of being an entrepreneur. That's the nature of building wealth, or however you want to succeed. I don't care what it is, you will have adversity. Now, this last one is very, very important. Have faith and confidence in you. Okay, a lot of times in life, we can say, you know what, I'm not very good at this, or I'm not very good at that, and that's okay. None of us are good at everything, and none of us are great at very many things. Now, some people will tell you, oh, you can do anything in life. That's wrong. I cannot beat Michael Jordan, even today. Now, I'm older than he is, but he's a little bit older, but he's not as old as I am. But I still don't think I could beat him in a game of basketball. I don't think I could beat LeBron James today. So I can't do anything I want to do. I might beat him at playing checkers, but I'm probably not going to beat either one of them at playing basketball. That's just the nature of it. So when you find something you want to do, it needs to be something that you can succeed in. Because there are some things you can't do. Okay, if you say, I want to become wealthy, you could probably do that. If you say, I want to be a billionaire in 10 minutes, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, but you need confidence in yourself. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. You can. Now, your success story needs to be something that fulfills you and gives you something to give value to others. What you do and what you succeed in needs to be something that fulfills not only your life, but something that you can share and give to others. That's very important, because if you don't like what you're doing and nobody else likes what you're doing, you're not going to succeed. Not going to happen. It's got to be something that fulfills you, something you want to do, and something that others see value in. Now, why is that important? This next step makes it evidently clear why this is important. Others have got to see value in it. Why? When people see more value in what you offer than the value of the dollars in their pocket, they will give you those dollars that's in their pocket. If they look at a $10 bill and say, hey, this person's got a book filled with awesome ideas, filled with great ideas, I need to buy that book and it will help fulfill my life or help me build wealth, I'm definitely willing to give them $10 to get that book. See, they see more value in the book than the $10 that's in their pocket. When you can offer more value than the value of the amount of money that you're asking for your service, people will give you those dollars. But you have to give them equal or greater value. Now, Bill Gates did this with Windows. Years ago, for those of you who are a little older that's watching, You remember DOS, disk operating systems? You had to tell your computer everything to do, and we had a just a single color screen, a monochrome monitor. It was either green or orange, and you had to type all these commands. It was a nightmare trying to navigate through anything on a computer. And then Bill Gates came up with Windows, and all you got to do is move a little mouse and click, and then move it again and click, and you can go from one screen to another without having to try to remember about 1,000,000 different commands. He made computers easy, and he should be rewarded. And the world looked at his invention and said, hey, I want that more than the dollars in my pocket. That will make my life so much easier. So they were willing to give him the dollars in their pocket for his product, namely Windows. Very good illustration. But when people see more value in what you offer than the dollars in their pocket, they will be willing to give you those dollars. It happens every time. Now, this last point I want to make. For those of you who watch this video or any video, however you want to build wealth, I encourage you, listen to success stories because it will encourage you. You will learn from that, and it will encourage you and give you education that you can't get from anywhere else. You can't get it in school. You can't get it from society. A lot of times society is very negative about building wealth or about accomplishing goals. So when you do succeed, if you push hard and really push, really think, really work, really push to get accomplished what you want to accomplish, what fulfills you and gives value to others, when you succeed, you need to be willing to share that story. Because that story that you can share with others will do the same that these others did for you. It will encourage them and educate them. I would love to hear your success stories. If you get out and you build wealth or you accomplish, maybe you want to write a book or maybe you want to do whatever in life that fulfills you and gives value to others, when you succeed, if you will just send us a little note and tell us, I would love to hear from you. Thank you. Anybody can build wealth. Anybody can succeed in life. Success stories from others is always great in your life, but when you succeed, that story will be very valuable to others. So listen, you can become redneck rich. See you on the next video.